Lady Jaye, I take it you've already been checked out on the multi-mode pulse Doppler radar. They wouldn't have slated you for a backseat training flight.
I've been qualified in all modes, including air-to-ground and ground mapping, Ace. But I'm not due for requalification yet. Mind telling me the real reason for this flight?
The tech boys just updated the Sky Striker with some new black boxes and ECM pods. Going to take them upstairs, give them a pounding, and see if they come up smiling.
I'm no stranger to rattlers, Wild Weasel. Why do I need to be checked out again?
We've made some modifications to the basic aircraft, Baroness. The ones you've flown before were the plain vanilla sports coupes. This is the fully loaded GT.
In other words, we're going on a milk run, so you can sit back and enjoy the ride.
So far, everything seems the same, and there doesn't appear to be any outward difference from the old model.
My, aren't we impatient today?
I'm leveling out and adjusting trim. Better run your radar systems check now before we reach the test site. By the way, your Class 2 physical is up to date, isn't it?
Affirmative. And I've also had my altitude chamber training, so don't worry about me passing out back here. We've got negative readings across the board on the threat indicators.
Fine. Punching in the flight data on the computer keyboard.
When is the flight attendant wheeling down the refreshment cart?
Warning, warning, interdiction.
What's that? Is there someone else on board?
That's just our onboard 92K memory computer telling us that a threatened physical aircraft is in our path, namely a civilian 747. Our radar sees everything, but the computer filters out the safe stuff from the threat display.
Watch out, Wild Weasel, you're going to... You're knocking the leaves off the treetops! If we go any lower, we might as well take the interstate.
Funny you should mention that, Baroness. The easiest way to navigate at this altitude is to follow the highways. This way I can get my maps at gas stations.
Look where you're going, the overpass!
I don't have to look where I'm going. The radar computer autopilot linkage does my map of the Earth flying for me by deftly avoiding anything in our path.
This is the most sensitive radar system I've ever seen.
It's got one major drawback. The instant you turn it on, you're visible to anyone with $100 to spend on a good radar detector. Like this one here. Imagine a completely darkened room, occupied by sworn enemies, armed with pistols and unlit flashlights. As long as no one turns on his light, he's safe. Air-to-air combat is usually won by whoever sees the other guy first. That enables maneuver into a weapons lock-on firing position. If you're spotted first, you better have a tighter turning radius than the other guy, so you can circle around behind him. Here, I'll punch you up a diagram on your CRT display.
So, what good does it do to have a radar operator sitting in the back seat?
Another pair of eyes to sweep the sky can never hurt. And besides, those generals do love to buy this expensive hardware.
Wild Weasel, I'm picking up a blip on the radar.
I've got a direct visual on it. It's above and ahead of us. I make it out to be a G.I. Joe Sky Striker. Luckily, we're right in the center of their blind spot.
But if we can see them on our radar, can't they see us on theirs?
We may be flying too close to the ground for the radar computer to sort us out from the ground water.
Somebody's bouncing a radar beam off our hull. It's showing up on our threat display. Any blips on the radar, Lady Jaye?
Not a thing. The sky is empty.
The sky isn't empty. Something's right in our blind spot.
Am arming heat-seeking missiles on pylons 1 and 2.
Target lock.
Have achieved target lock-on and am initiating firing sequence. Missiles launched!
2 birds on our tail! Punch up all the ECM systems and the RBC dispenser.
I'll
RVCs and infrared flares dispensed.
The radar reflective foil chaff should neutralize the tracking systems, and the flare should decoy the heat seekers. The bird snaked past the flares. How bad are we hit, Lady Jaye?
The proximity fuse detonated right over our tailplane. We've got control surfaces, but the transmission antenna is out. But we've got no radio contact with base.
Hang on! We're going into that tight turning radius I told you about before.
Ace, we're pushing 3 Gs. Can the airframe take the stress?
Sure, our flesh and blood bodies will cave in way before the Sky Striker will. This crate is designed to maintain structural integrity under adverse conditions. Let's see how Cobra equipment holds up under really adverse conditions. Like a burst from a Vulcan 20 Mike.
Wild Weasel, are you...
I'm quite alright, thank you. The cockpit of a Rattler is encased in a titanium steel armored bathtub. It also helps that they hit us at a steep angle of deflection.
I'm arming heat-seeking missiles for...
No can do, Ace. That's a whole community of taxpayers down there.
That's right. Can't have a stray missile home in on a backyard barbecue. Gotta ride his tail until he's in the clear.
They're almost on top of us.
You're the one sitting in the gun turret. Why don't you do something about it?
You bet I will.
Ace, answer me. Ace!
Take the controls, Lady Jaye. Pull her up, trim her, and level out. I'm not hit at all, but my faceplate is too stark to see through. You'll have to drive until I can get my helmet off. Just don't let that Rattler get out from in front of us.
I'll be lucky if I can just keep us from crashing.
They're still on us, Wild Weasel. I'm sure I scored a direct hit on their canopy front.
Then whoever's in the back seat is driving. If it's not a seasoned pilot, I may be able to get away with something.
Hurry up, Ace. If they pull anything fancy, I'll lose them for sure.
Helmet latch is stuck. You've got to hold on for a few seconds.
Let's see how good they build airplanes in Springfield. And let's see if that backseat driver has the guts to follow me into this maneuver.
Ace, do something!
They're too close for missiles, Wild Weasel.
I know. I'm gonna use the Gatling gun
Phew. Got it off.
and walk it up their tail.
Hold on to your lunch, Lady Jaye. We're going upstairs on the express.
They just disappeared.
No such thing, Baroness. They cut in their afterburners and went straight up. That gives us time to take cover in the ground clutter while they're getting their act back together.
We've lost them for good, Ace. They're probably hugging the ground while jamming every frequency in the universe with their ECM pods.
We've got a few tricks left. Switch the radar over to the look down mode and feed the signal through the computer.
The computer's giving me ground features clear as a bell. But how can I pick up the Rattler and all that jumble?
Run it through a filter program that sorts out any blips that are moving in conformity with the flight plan. We'll cancel out stationary ground features and only show moving objects, like the Rattler.
I've set the radar computer autopilot linkage to fly us in the troughs between houses. We'll only be increasing altitude slightly to avoid actual structures. The Joes will have to follow us manually.
Lucky for us, the Rattler pilot isn't paying attention to where his flight path is taking him.
We're heading out over the ocean. Without civilians in the line of fire, the Sky Striker can fire on us at will.
I'm arming all 4 heat-seeking missiles for a full salvo. My HUD is blown away. You'll have to align us and lock on with radar from the back seat.
We're locked on.
Sky Striker's radar pulse indicates a weapons fix. They're about to launch missiles.
Time to slam on the speed brakes.
What? The Rattler stopped dead in the air.
No way! It just slowed down so fast we went right by it. Wasted our missiles, too.
Now we can head back towards land in safety. Right, Wild Weasel?
Not quite.
The Rattler's not running. He's making a full 180-degree turn, coming back for a head-on attack. The Rattler still has both heat-seeking and radar-directed missiles. If I keep on this heading, he can only fire the radar-directed armament at us. If I turn, we're open to attack from both modes. I think I'll go with the percentages.
The Sky Striker is maintaining his straight-on heading. Missiles launched.
He's firing on us, Ace.
I'm plowing into a hard right turn. As the missiles swerve to correct their course, their servos get thrown out of whack by the excessive G-force. We lost the missiles. It looks like we also lost the Rattler again. I'm taking her up a little higher to let the old pulse Doppler have a wider scan.
Wild Weasel, the threat indicator shows a radar pulse bouncing off our skin again.
Don't worry. I have one more trick up the sleeve of my G-suit. Watch this and learn.
Ace, the Rattler's blip just disappeared off the radar screen.
They must have made a 90-degree turn. The target is no longer moving against the background. The computer has been fooled into thinking that the target doesn't exist. It's a 50-50 chance. Heads we turn right, tails left. Right it is.
Your plan may have worked, Wild Weasel. I don't see the Sky Striker behind us at all.
I see them, directly below us. We're in their blind spot.
They caught us over a junkyard. There's nobody around to get hit by a stray missile.
I've got 2 radar-directed missiles left. Get me a positive lock-on.
Their systems have achieved a positive lock-on.
I'm firing all remaining missiles.
At what?
The junk! The flying debris from the exploded scrap metal creates an effective radar screen that will also trigger the proximity fuses.
I can't see a thing, Lady Jaye.
The radar screen is full of snow. Too much flying debris.
I'll bet this guy is waiting for us when we clear the cloud. I was right. All missiles expended. We're down to Gatling guns at point-blank range. Gun check. Empty.
Gun check. Empty.
That's it? We're just breaking off the engagement and going back to Springfield? You're just going to let them get away? Answer me! I told you to answer me!
What are you doing? We're heading back to base? You're gonna just let them fly away so we can go back to McGuire and eat breakfast? Well?